So Lyle and Erik Menendez have recently both been denied parole, and I'm absolutely over the moon, ecstatic, and happy about it. I just don't believe that if you ever do something like this in your lifetime, that you should ever be set free. And I also believe, while I don't necessarily think that they pose a danger to society, and they have shown some progress. I think one of them has a degree now, one of them's married, or both of them might be married. They've gone on to help fellow inmates by counselling and coaching and doing educational things. I still think that they exhibit antisocial personality traits like deception, minimization, and rule breaking. And that's me quoting what somebody at the parole board said. They have a long history, before this even happened, they have a long history of exhibiting antisocial personality traits and disorders. Now, none of us are perfect, we all have flaws. But the things that they were doing before this even happened were things like breaking and entering homes in Beverly Hills, taking other people's property, cheating on examinations, and also they were proven to be compulsive liars as well. So they haven't been model inmates as people have claimed either. They've been caught with cell phones, which you're not allowed to have when you're inside. They've been caught with, unsavory characters. And when I say that, I mean actual affiliation, not just, they're sharing a cell with somebody who's unsavory. Of course, you're going to be sharing a cell with somebody who's unsavory when you're inside. But I also think that they've never taken full responsibility for what they've done. They had other options. There are thousands of people who have been essayed and never ever taken the route or the route that these brothers took. They were other options. They could have reported it. They could have left. They could have told a relative and stayed with a relative. They had other options, and I think that's the point. This didn't have to be the outcome. I think when you do something like this, I think it should be a life for a life. And in this case, it was two lives. So I don't think that they should ever be set free. Now, their attorney, Mark Garagos, is going around saying, oh, this is all a setup, it's all rigged. But that's just a load of rubbish. I mean, like someone said, very few people are just set free after their first try with, in parole. And I think they got their hopes up because of the Netflix movie or series, and then they had all this momentum behind them, and I think they both feel very deflated. But at the same time, I don't think there's any mitigating circumstances that justifies the act. That's just my opinion. I think what they did, and particularly their behavior afterwards and the deception, pretending that this had something to do with the mafia, and then going out on a big spending spree, shopping spree, buying Rolex watches, buying expensive suits, buying designer this, designer that, buying expensive condos and penthouses. That just rubs me the wrong way. And I still think they minimize what they did. And I don't think they've taken full responsibility for what they did. They claim they love their mother. One of these brothers went back out and reloaded and then came back to finish her off. If that's love, I would hate to think what they would do with somebody that they actually didn't like. And like I said, I very much agree with the parole board that they still display antisocial personality traits because they haven't been the model inmates that we were told they were. Like, they've been caught with phones. One of them was doing inappropriate things in a church, watching inappropriate things, having access to things that they shouldn't have. Also, very negative affiliations with certain people inside. I don't think that they pose a danger to the wider community, but I do believe in a life for a life, unless it's under extreme circumstances, like self-defense. And I just don't see as a self. I don't buy their story. I believe their father was a nightmare, and I believe that he was harsh on them, and I believe he had high expectations of them. I believe he was probably a bully, but that doesn't give them the right to do what they did. Like I said, and like the people at the parole board said, they had other options. I think their mother certainly didn't deserve what happened. I think she was probably passive. I think she probably had certain issues, but I don't believe she posed a danger to them whatsoever. I think their mother was actually filling out an application to go to college for one of the brothers. I mean, these two people were sitting at home in their living room watching TV when this happened. I don't believe Lyle and Erik's story, and they are proven to be compulsive pathological liars. That doesn't mean to say that I think that everything was hunky-dory in that house. I don't. I think there were some deep-seated issues in that house, but nothing has been proven. They have not been here to defend themselves, so nothing was proven. But what we do know is what we know. We do know that this actually happened. This event that they participated in and premeditated actually happened, and there was no reason for this to happen. They had other options. So I'm very happy, very, very happy that they've both been denied parole. I haven't discussed the Adelson case extensively on my channel. I might have mentioned it once or twice in a few videos. I'm currently watching the trial, and I've never seen anyone look as miserable as Donna Adelson. I mean, she just cannot even muster even a smile. There's always this grimace. There's always this very uncomfortable look on her face. She always looks like she's on the verge of crying. And her daughter came into court today to take the stand. I believe the whole family is involved, including her daughter Wendy. And that's just my opinion. I think the entire family knew what was going on and was involved. And this was a good family. They were a family of dentists. They were upper class. They were a Jewish, hardworking Jewish family who had a good business. And it just goes to show you, just because somebody is from a certain type of family or has a certain status doesn't mean that they can't do things like this. I mean, they didn't have to do this. There's no reason why this should have happened. But I do believe that the entire family are involved. I just wanted to say that.